Good to see you. Even though we are dealing with some snow and major amounts of it, nothing will keep Matt Lee from joining us as he likes to do and come in and talk about real estate concerns and issues. And here to talk about this crazy rental situation, I would say lack of rental situation in our region.
Yeah, lack of rental situation is a great phrase for that. We run into the situation where the city is trying to implement secondary suites to try to alleviate a bit of that stress. There is people that are trying to build buildings downtown. They're trying to get these things passed because of the lack of rentals in our city. We are the lowest in Ontario. So
wow.
We're at 0.7%, which is almost double, like twice as low as the next one.
Well, we'll show you a comparison in just a bit, but now's the time, I think, if you have property, maybe you have a basement suite.
Yeah.
Now's the time to think about it.
Yep, it is. If you go onto the City of Kingston website and you look at the secondary suite, there's a search engine in the top, and you could type in secondary suite. You can see if you're in the mapping area. The East End and the West End are both in that area, and I believe it's because the capacity for the sewers can handle it. Right now, they're working on the downtown to kind of do the big dig, and kind of change those things around. So what we are running into is that they will allow you to go in and take a permit. You can read everything about it, and basically I believe that there's a number of people that are out there that are looking for apartments because not a lot out there.
Well, let's break down some of the numbers with us for you right now, and these were issued by the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation a little while ago. Some interesting numbers you'll talk us through us here. This is some fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so this is, as we see, Kingston at 0.7%, Toronto is at 1%, and you work your way up. Ontario as a whole is 1.6%, so you can see everybody down below there. Like you go into Belleville, it's only it's as high as 2.2%. This is a rental apartment. It shows you what was being constructed. Our supply is at 13,776, and our demand is almost right there.
This stat really surprised me here.
This one here is a big one. So it shows you what was built between 1960 and 1970. That was when the bulk of our rental market in Kingston was built, 6,000. And then it worked down from the 1980s to 1990. We had a recession in there as well. And then 2000 to 2017. I think there's a couple things that are happening. I mean, building costs are changing. There's rental regulations. There's CMHC changed their funding. So the thing is that back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, you could finance in a certain time period in there at 110% through CMHC.
To build an apartment building.
Yeah, so if you built something large, they would finance the building plus help you float for a little while. And now they'll finance you at 75%, maybe. So if they're only financing you at that, you've got a lot of skin in the game, and that all of a sudden you have to make sure that those apartments are full on the time of finished construction and that everything stays on time, and there's a lot of risk. I mean, so therefore, they have to have a bit of a reward and figuring those things out.
Well, landlords certainly, hopefully, will reap the benefits, but is it a bad situation for the tenants? Are they going to be paying more
the reality
than they
is
should be?
that it pushes their prices up. So I mean, the thing is that there's a couple different ways of looking at this. Yes, it pushes the rental prices up. Somebody that's in a position that says, look, I don't have the down payment, but maybe I should get out of renting and trying into buying.
Yeah.
When you get into springtime, the City of Kingston does do a 5% program. So therefore, they will do your down payment program, and they will own 5% of your house if you keep it for 20 years and you live there. If not, and you go to sell it, you have to pay them back. But there is those programs to help you out of that. But the reality is that, yeah, we are in the lack of supply. There is a number of buildings going to the OMB, and everybody has the right to have their voice heard. There's no question about that. I think that things need to be done in a timely fashion for both sides. And what we are running into is that the tenants are the ones getting hurt right now because it is pushing it up. That
0.7%, did it surprise you with Kingston?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I think that we have, there's a lot of things that, again, people are trying to get these buildings built. I think that there's, we've talked about, 1,200, units that are sitting on the books trying to get that, and that would alleviate that, that stress. to be a healthy market, you have to have supply. I mean, the thing is that if somebody gets into a position where it says, well, I'm offering, I want $1,000 for this apartment, and and you think that maybe that's a little high, but you don't have any choice, what do you do?
Well, this is when a lot of people start to turn to looking into buying a condo for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been paying $1,200, $1,300 a month rent.
Yep.
Maybe it's time to purchase some property.
And that's the thing. There is a supply of apartments that are out there that are kind of between that 150 and 200 mark, that if you actually broke down the numbers and you said, okay, my mortgage is going to be this, condo fees and taxes are this, and the city of Kingston can help you out, I would be ready in the next little while. If you went to the mortgage broker now and you had your application ready, then you can get ready for March to go talk to the city.
Always a pleasure to see you, Matt. Thank you. Thank you.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.